I'm sorry to say this, but it's my kalaban, okay? And I'm referring to both the First District and the Capitolio, who are causing disruptions when it comes to peace and order. I'm really going to say this, Apo, ha? You all know that there are kapitanes now that are really harassing and intimidating my supporters. Firstly, I'd like to begin by apologizing for my outburst during our campaigning in Barangay Pastori. There was a reason why I lost my cool. Let me explain the sequence of events. Please understand that I have been campaigning all over Laoag. Now, recently, kapitanes have suddenly appeared and have been following us, making us bantayan. Now, it happened in Barangay Lagisail with Kapitan Rodelin de la Cruz, and later on it happened in Raraburan with Kapitan Elmer Maulit. Now, please understand, in both those instances, in Lagisail, the Kapitana moved with us, but she greeted me at the start, and we exchanged pleasantries, and it was fine. And she just sort of made bantayan and sort of followed me as we went campaigning. The same thing happened in Raraburan. I talked to Kapitan Elmer, and we also exchanged pleasantries, and then he also sort of followed me and watched me as I campaigned. But it was fine. However, in La Pastori, when we got there and we began to make lakad, we began to walk with the group, somebody whispered to me, "Oh, the Kapitan is making kasama." So I turned around and I looked, and the Kapitan was behind me, and he simply looked at me. He didn't greet me, he didn't say anything. He just looked at me. And I realized when I looked at him that he had a body cam. Anyway, as I was walking, I received a text message, and I wanted to reply to that text message. So we walked near a house, and there was nobody inside the house. And what I did was I slipped inside the house and I sat down on a bench to reply to the message. As I was about to do that, I looked up, and the Kapitan was just on the other side, and he was saying to somebody was talking to him, and he said, "No, I have to be here because I have to ensure peace and order." And I thought, huh? You have to what? Ensure peace and order? So I stood up and I walked to the gate, and I looked at him and I said, "Kap, what are you saying? What are you talking about? What are you saying that you have to ensure peace and order?" And that's when it began. Okay, that's when everyone started to get medyo high blood, because what's he saying that he has to ensure peace and order? I have been making campaign in I think nearly 20 barangays. There's never been an issue of peace and order anywhere. Everything is fine, okay? And I know that there's a directive from the First District for not just kapitans, but barangay officials, tanods, to make us bantayan. I already know that, okay? But the way it was handled in the two previous barangays, I'm referring to Lagisail and Raraburan, there's no problem. Everything's fine. I don't mind if a kapitan makes kasama with us. I don't mind. It's just that please be polite, please don't be masyadong, aggressive. But this guy was different. I'm sorry to say. And he was really emphasizing that he was there to ensure peace and order. Now, please, what are you implying? That if I make ronda, if I campaign, I'm going to disrupt peace and order? Of course not. In fact, I'm sorry to say this, but it's my kalaban, okay? And I'm referring to both the First District and the Capitolio, who are causing disruptions when it comes to peace and order. I'm really going to say this, Apo, ha? You all know that there are kapitanes now that are really harassing and intimidating my supporters. This is happening in so many barangays where so many people are coming to us. In fact, when I made Campanya, there are people coming to me crying, saying that the Kapitan is threatening them, saying that the Kapitan is insisting that they stay inside the house, that they don't go out and talk to me. There's been a number of incidences where people, women especially, literally come and cry and saying what they're doing to us is really not good. You're talking about peace and order. Look what's happened in this election. Laoag was peaceful and orderly before the election. Now look at the election now. This election has caused a complete disruption in the peace and order of Laoag. Okay, so what they're trying to say, and I'm sorry, it's DCJC. What DCJC is saying is also wrong, the way they're projecting everything. And yes, everyone knows that I get high blood. Everyone knows that I have a loud voice, okay? Everybody knows that. That's just my ugali. But please understand that even though I shout, I don't hurt people, okay? I don't intimidate people. I don't beat people up. I don't have people beaten up. And I don't go to the extent of committing extrajudicial acts. I don't do that, okay? So please understand that I'm really insulted by the way this incident has been projected. You know, there's really a breakdown in peace and order now. Don't you know that there are barangay captains that are really threatening our supporters, really intimidating our supporters, okay? And imagine even people targeted. And the reason why that Kapitan wanted to come with a body cam, because even in the pictures that we have, that we place in Facebook, they're looking at all the tao that are talking to me. And all those people are being targeted as being pro-MMK. So, what are people talking about when it comes to peace and order? Please understand, what's happening now is really not good. And I will speak at greater length in the future. I'm only speaking about that specific event. And in the end, the Kapitan followed us anyway. And he was quiet afterwards. And there's nothing wrong. That, please understand, and we gave a letter. We give a letter to every single barangay requesting permission to make Campanya there. And I think you people have seen the letter. It was even put on Facebook. You see the nature of the letter. So if you read the letter, why would I want to go and disrupt peace and order? Of course not. Okay? What they wanted to do, because of the body cam, they wanted to see who the people are who are talking to me. That's what they're trying to do, and this is wrong. You know, this is meant to be a democratic election, but it's not turning out that way. Now, I will speak again in the future about various issues which I believe the public needs to know. Because please understand that things are becoming medyo mabigat, and they should not be like this. Thank you.